Hi everyone, this is Marcia McMahon and hope you're having a great day out there. It's July the 20th and I'm going to introduce my newest book. It's called Mary Magdalene Speaks, The Holy Grail, the Bloodline, and the Secrets of the Divine Feminine. And I'm going to read a sample of Mary's words on the chakras, and I'll be doing that in a few minutes after I explain a little bit more how I came to write this book and how it all fell together. I've been channeling Mary Magdalene since um, 2005, and I had the BBS radio show, The Peaceful Planet, and I was the host of that for about 10 years off and on. And I came to learn that I had a past life with Joshua and Ben Joseph, also known as Jesus Christ, and that I was a female disciple. I was not Mary Magdalene. A lot of people feel that they were Mary Magdalene, and I've regressed 2 people, and I've met about 10 others that feel they were Mary Magdalene. I am not sure that they actually were Mary Magdalene, but the painting that I did on the cover resembles strongly a lady that I did regress in past life regression. And so it's not up to me to say for sure who is Mary Magdalene, but I do know that a lot of people carry her essence and have Akashic memories of being her. Um, Probably an inordinate amount of people out there that remember fragments of her soul. So that's what's called a soul fragment. It's part of the vastness of what we call the soul monad. So I'm here today to clue you in on some of the fascinating topics that I discussed in the book and came to know as a result of hosting the BBS radio Jesus Mysteries series. And I always felt a great love for Jesus, and I could always hear from him in prayer. And I thought that everyone could do that. And I didn't know for many years that I was a psychic. And I worked for a number of Protestant churches. And a lot of the other ministers that I knew could also hear from the spirit realm. So this is called the still small voice. It's not necessarily mediumship, it's just channeling your higher self. But I have been connected to the spirit realm since I've worked with Princess Diana, and I've published 2 books with her. One is titled With Love from Diana, Queen of Hearts, and then the other is titled uh, Princess Diana's Message of Peace. And so I was bringing out my messages of peace with Princess Diana when I got diverted into a very happy and very unusual diversion called the Jesus Mysteries. And I had the honor of interviewing Joanna Prentice and Stuart Wilson, 2 authors that produced The Power of the Magdalene back in 2009. And then the following week, I also interviewed Ed Martin, another great researcher who also did a film on Jesus in India. And they told me the very same story, that Joshua, or Jesus, possibly did not die and possibly was either resurrected or he was revived by a team of healers and then went on to travel the Silk Road after he was crucified. And another psychic, Bob Murray, told me when I was on air that I was with Jesus in a past life in England, and that he had traveled to England to escape the Roman rule after he became either healed or resurrected. And Bob claims that he was never really dead. So I investigate all these mysteries. But by the way, I believe that he did die. I still remember him on the cross. I communicated with him after that tragedy, and I remember his messages to me about not grieving and so on. But I didn't remember his resurrection or his being alive after that. But eventually, through a number of regressions, I could recall him appearing and disappearing. So um, there's ample evidence of Jesus being in India during the missing years, and Jesus confirmed that to me, and he also confirmed my identity as a disciple, a close disciple and follower of him. And I found out that Mary Magdalene and Mary of Bethany are, in fact, one of them in the same person, and that she was at Bethany and she was never a prostitute, and that all of these lies put out by the supposedly well-intended church fathers um, really were a means of denigrating women and keeping her in her place, when actually Jesus intended for her to be um, his spokesperson for the divine feminine. So he gave equal status to women as he did to children. He always was encouraging people to be like a little child and be innocent. So today I'm going to share with you an excerpt uh, from Mary speaking in the book on her chakras and the healing of the 7 demons, or the 7 chakras. Mary did not have 7 demons. She had um, a series of setbacks after Jesus went to India. And when Jesus visited India as a child, then basically he left in the, not exactly a child, but he was a youth when he left, maybe age 17 to 19. And when he left, she was betrothed to him. So she went through a lot of suffering and depression as a result of that. And that eventually led to her going down to the temple of Isis in Egypt, where she studied with um, Egyptian ladies. And the temple of Isis in Egypt was the to-do thing for women who wanted to become like goddess-like for their husbands in that day. And Joseph of Arimathea was either our uncle or our father, and he became concerned about Mary's depression, and she became a little bit wayward during her depression and went off to Magdala. And then Joseph got wind of this and sent her directly to the school of Isis, where she would learn self-mastery and master her breathing and master her feminine dancing and skills and tuning into the goddess. So in those days, both Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene had studied in the school of Isis, and that was considered proper training for both Jewish girls and Egyptian girls at that time, because the whole Hebrew tradition sprang forth from the Egyptian tradition. So the Mother Goddess has been with us in a primordial way, way before the Father God and the patriarchal stuff started with Judaism, and then eventually um, crept into both Christianity and the Muslim faith. But the Muslims do revere Jesus, and they speak of a tomb of Isa in Afghanistan, where he is buried, supposedly. So you can check all these mysteries out by getting a copy of my book, and there is ample evidence on YouTube if you look carefully. There's a video called Jesus in Kashmir. So these are all theories that I investigate and have come to believe in my work with Mary Magdalene. But today I just like to share with you an upgrade, if you will, of the chakra system, your own chakras as well as mine, as well as Mary's. And I would like you to tune in to my channeling of Mary Magdalene on the 7 chakras and enjoy it and feel the energy of the Kundalini serpent rising through Mary's words, through Jesus's words, and feel the two of them working on your chakras. As I read her words, you will be getting a cleansing as well. So I'm going to read this message. It's from my book, Mary Magdalene Speaks, The Holy Grail, the Bloodline, and the Secrets of the Divine Feminine. And this is Mary speaking as we get into the message. So first I'm calling out to Mary, and it's titled Mary on the Seven Chakras. Mary reveals the seven chakras. Marcia, Mary Magdalene, I'm calling upon you now as my dear sister Mary of Bethany, if that's indeed who you were. I'm asking for your comments about the book, your gospel I'm reading right now, called The Gospel of Mary, and reading with great delight. The vibration of your sayings is so true. You really were the master teacher, were you not, Mary? And Mary of Bethany answers, You speak well, my friend and sister. It is I, Mary Magdalene, also known as Mary of Bethany. I was appointed the chiefest disciple and master of the Inner Way Mystery School by Master Jesus. In my Gospels, you will find fragments of what was left of my teaching. And the book you hold in your hands is now is what was written by a fine Frenchman who knows the truth and the way and the life. Everything was deliberately kept secret by the church fathers, and even my gospel was denigrated to a point. But there is yet much truth to be revealed in your up-and-coming book. There are just a few of you out there, my channels in the United States. You, Martha, as my sister, are a worthy channel, having worked on clearing your energy systems of any disease and also of any impurities. And now I would like to address the 7 demons, or chakras. So please relax, everyone, and receive this energy upgrade and cleansing from Master Jeshua and Master Mary Magdalene. In the time of the Essenes, we worked on maturity, and we worked with the chakra system, as it is recorded. When it was said that Jeshua drove out the 7 demons, it was in reference to the 7 chakras. It was not that I literally had 7 demons, but I had accumulated karmic debris, as we all do. And we bring in karmic debris from previous lifetimes, plus including any harm that comes to us intentionally or unintentionally in our families and our communities. So really, then, prepare to take a deep breath and focus on the base chakra, which represents your bottom. And we would start with the base of the spine, and we would cleanse that chakra. And then we would move up to the second chakra, the pubic bone, the sacral chakra, which was cleansed by Jeshua when he forgave me. So then became a vehicle for the Holy Child, for I was the mother of his child, Sarah, and the bloodline does exist to this day. And in that chakra, I held his seed, a seed of new life, for the holy bloodline to continue some 2,000 years later. And it still does continue to this day. Many women felt attracted and drawn to the love that was Jeshua. But in this case, in the case of private matters, it was very much kept a secret. And the early church was kept from these things except for certain disciples like Philip and yourself and Lazarus, to name a few. Then we moved up into the solar plexus, that area of the sun, and you can put your hand on your belly button. That's where the solar plexus is located. The area of the sun where we feel we can manifest our being in the surety of the light of the sun. And so we cleared that chakra of all cravings that are not good for us. And we also cleared the chakra of any seeming self-depreciating thoughts, of which, of course, I had. It is true that I was repentant when I met Joshua on the road after seeing him travel back from India. It is very true that I was ashamed and of my chakras, and so he healed me with a lightning-quick fire. Further on up ignited my heart flame. Once again, my great love, the love of my life, Joshua. His blue eyes were shining, his white teeth gleaming, and he opened his arms and embraced me in that moment. What a joyful thought. I once again allowed myself to love after I have been shuttered up in my home for years, dreaming of him, but never really knowing that he would come back, and all the while claiming Isis, the goddess Isis, for my cursed state. Then, of course, he opened gradually as he worked with me with my throat chakra, which was fairly silent, for I was known as Mary of Bethany, the one that sat at the feet of the Master and listened. I was not the speaker. I was not confident. But I learned to be confident through him, and then, of course, through the throat and up through the face, which he did kiss many times. And that was a glorious feeling after so many years of being separated from Joshua. We were separated when Jesus went to India with his other wife, Miriam of Tiana. He was very much in love when he left, but he realized when he came home that it was I who possessed the inner knowledge that was to blossom, and he brought it forth many times. He kissed my eyes in hopes that they would awaken from the dreams, the bad dreams and nightmares I had from Egypt for so many years. And now, of course, he came to the third eye chakra. He awakened that in a ceremony, which was a private ceremony between us. And then, of course, the crown chakra, which was the head of the Kundalini serpent. And as we engaged in our relations, we would try to reach all the way to heaven, as if we were imagining the tips of the trees touching the sky. And it was the earth and sky united in a blissful moment. And there we were, one with the Father and the Mother God, as he used to say. Joshua had become an initiate in England and also in India, and he had familiarized himself with the other great traditions of the day. So this raising of the Kundalini energy was learned in India. He did study for a time Tantra as well. I was unfamiliar with such practices, and I first felt very ashamed. Joshua and his devotion and purity reminded me that all the chakras can be re-energized in just a moment by the pure love that we choose to exude and emulate. We manifest our desires when we are in the purity of love, so that our desires manifest so much more quickly. And so this is my inner way teaching to all of you today, to work with your chakras and your healing, to use the sacred energies of your Kundalini for your own higher purposes and enjoyment while you are in the body. For healers you are, and lovers also. And for this I thank you for having heard my story of the Divine Feminine as an embodied disciple and wife of the Master, Joshua ben Joseph, whom you know today as Jesus Christ. Many blessings to all of you, The name and title of my book is Mary Magdalene Speaks, The Holy Grail, The Bloodline, and the Divine Feminine by Marsha McMahon. I do readings and have appointments this week. I also have a website, many of them, but the one you want to visit is Mastery with Archangel Michael and Mary Magdalene.com. And you can leave your comments and subscribe, if you would, to my channel below. I will be bringing forth many other messages from both Princess Diana and Mother Mary, as well as Mary Magdalene, in the coming weeks, now that I've finished my book. And you can pick it up on Amazon as well. And I hope that you derived some healing and some peace from this meditation on the Kundalini energies given from Mary today. And may Mary and Jesus bless you richly today. And please report any experiences that you had with the chakra cleansing. Thank you for having heard my message, and bye for now.